Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I hope I am live on Facebook now. I hope that this is coming through live. Coach John here tonight. I've got a big call tonight with the lovely Jasmuheem. I hope that I'm going to be able to rise her. We're just trying to get her. Right now, she's in Brisbane, Australia, so it's Thursday morning over there. Hopefully, we're going to be able to connect. It's 10:15, I believe, over there. 7:15, we're arranged for here in the East. Going live with Jasmuheem tonight, pending a connection here. Just trying to rise her. Just give me a moment. Crossing my fingers here, that I'm going to be able to get Jasmuheem on the call here. She seems to be having some trouble with the link for some reason. We're having some sort of trouble. I don't know why. Facebook book permissions, some sort of censorship, some sort of blockage, some sort of, there is no power that is over me in my life. There is no power over me in my life. There is no power over us. And hopefully we will be blessed with a gift tonight. I've already been gifted for my day. My wife returned to work with me today. I took a day off today from being on the gym floor. What? Oh my gosh. Looks like here it is. Maybe. Yes. I think we may have it. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Are we ready to start? Or are we still not live?
We can start whenever, we are live. This is our first time meeting. This is the first time that we've connected. I've been trying to get in touch with you for a year.
I know. And it wasn't meant to be, but it is now.
So what a blessing to have you here tonight. I'll tell you a little bit that, my background comes from a very physical background. I have a bodybuilding background. I'm a very physical man in my past. And I, found my way into this world because my body was filled with pain. My body was filled with pain, and that pain was spilling out into the rest of my entire life. And because of coming from such a physical background, I probably have a very physical background of people behind me that are potentially following and watching along with me. So I'll let you know that. And I'll just share that with you when I ask you to please, let us know about you. Like, who are you? How did you come to be? Why did this happen for you? And why? Why are you doing what you're doing?
I really like looking at your background. When we do Zoom meetings, everybody looks at everybody else's background, and it looks like my gym. And to be honest with you, I've been pumping iron and lifting weights since I was about 20. I've been doing yoga since I was about 16. I was highly athletic all through my childhood. I was a swimmer, I was a diver, I did track, I played all sports. And, I just found if I kept it live and light on the food intake, everything performed much better. So for me, it was just experiential. If I did this, then that happened. If I played with this, then that happened. Because it was just an intuitive, I can feel better, I can feel better, I can perform better, there's more potential. And so I began really, really young, being very choosy with what I was putting in my body, much to the annoyance of my mother, who would give me what she felt was healthy food. And I would just be like, meh, because I never saw physical food as this huge pleasure game, but I always saw it as fuel. And so for me, it was super fuel, the best way to fuel my body, to get mental clarity, because, when you're young, you're studying, you're learning, you're doing all that. And it was just about having mental clarity, having physical stamina, feeling light, being able to push yourself way beyond normal boundaries, not feeling sluggish. I would notice if I took heavier food, I'd get almost like brain fog. And it was simply because it was like a part of your energy is going from freer levels into a heavier digestive process. So it's like there's less for other things, because what do they say? 60 to 80% of your energy is involved in digestion. So if you keep your fueling light, like do 16-8, that's the first game. Get connected with long periods of not putting fuel into your body. And then if you are fueling, then go super light, like vegan, plant-based, raw. And that's really where our world is right now. It's like everyone's exploring 16:8. Everyone's exploring plant-based. Everyone's exploring the joy of fasting, which, you know, I'm 65 and I did my first fast when I was 15. And boy, did I feel great. And that was just to do what you've been talking about in your videos, because I watched your videos too. And your videos you're sharing about, you need to detox, detox, detox. And so I began that whole process of the exploration of fasting at 15 and did my first 11-day water fast. And it was like, whoa, no more deodorants anymore, you know, no smelly breath ever, because your system is clean, and the mental payoff is huge. The emotional payoff is huge. And then you start, well, for me, I started then doing yoga at 16. Then I started meditating at 16. So, oh my God. Play, you play, you play, you play. Because here we have what I say to people, this magnificent human design that has a multi-dimensional layering to it. And all we ever explore with mainstream education is a beta brain frequency world. And what we see with these eyes, or what we can touch and feel with the senses, is our only reality. But when you go light, 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 when you say, I want to explore and experience my highest innate potential, I want to experience the magnificence of this human design, then, and it comes from your heart, it's like you begin the most joyous journey ever imaginable. So it's play.
So Jasmuheem, wonderful. I love understanding that you started this from what, 40, 50 years ago. 50 years
50 years ago.
50 years ago, you started to get into this. You're a true pioneer of lighter foods, food-free life. I want to expose a little bit more about, I know like you wrote a book about this lifestyle. This book has been transformational in the breatharian community. It's been like a real guide, a compass for a lot of people that have heard about this and kind of trying to explore it. It's a leading system, a method to move into this lifestyle of really lighter foods, less food, and even striving towards food-free life. Like most people, especially here in the West, I think are not even considering this as a possibility. Can you talk a little bit about your book, about your system, about the breatharian lifestyle, and about that part of your life?
I remember, in the 1980s, I had a career as a computer programmer, and I was working in the finance business. And we got our first computers, and they were big and chunky, and they had no memory much at all, not compared to trigabytes now. And we've got such small devices. And when you look at the first book I wrote, which was called Pranic Nourishment, and other publishers changed it and called it Living on Light, which is a very misleading title. I like the title of Nourishment, that we're being nourished, but it's antiquated technology. I wrote that book in the 90s, in the early 90s, and I was sharing about an initiation, a spiritual initiation I went through that was deeply spiritual. And not to freak out your audience, but I was working with some beautiful beings of light that I'd been telepathically connected with for a number of years. Because, I was 17, meditating, hitchhiking with a girlfriend, and we were in a highly dangerous place. And the middle of the night, I had this loud voice booming, get up, get out, get up, get out. And it was like, shut up, whoever's talking to me. And it was like this heavy energy projection and a very strong get up, get out. And we did, but we didn't get away. And we found a guy with a shotgun, came booming into the room where we'd been staying, and my life was literally saved. So I've had this telepathic contact from when my brother died when I was 14. And he used to come and I'd feel his energy, and my mother would feel his energy. So I've always been tuned to that level. So in 93, I was working with this initiation we talk about in my book with these beautiful beings of light who were bringing in a futuristic science to a planet who'd already been exposed for over 6,000 years to the Qigong masters in China, who found that when they were out in the forest and they were doing Qigong and they were meditating and they were in Mother Nature Chi, that they lost their appetite. And then the Himalayan yogis 4,000 years ago found the same thing, that you could get tuned to certain energy currents that are in us in a multi-layered zonal reality, like 99.99999% space is in each atom. But what's the space? It's a frequency of benevolence. It's a frequency of potential. It's a frequency of love. It's a frequency of wisdom. So in 93, the technology we use was 1993, and it's an antiquated system now. It's very different. We're in 2021. And so you can't even refer to that methodology. And I don't like the word breatharian because it's become misleading. It's like all we do is breathe air. It's not what we do. We acknowledge the frequency spectrum that's vibrating through every atom in our body, and we open for it to deliver its payload into the system, and we allow it by tuning in lifestyle to get stronger and stronger. So its dominant beat is so pure, we lose every single human hunger. So we have no physical hunger, we have no emotional hunger, we have no mental hunger, we have no spiritual hunger. And as it rises and strengthens its pulsation through our system, it dissolves everything within us that's not of the same frequency beat, and we're free.
So you're talking about receiving download information. You're talking about connecting with an inner power. You're talking about connecting with higher power. I hear you talking about prana. People talk about chi. People talk about Christ consciousness. People talk about God. Like there is definitely a spiritual contact with the breatharian lifestyle. This is about spirit, or this is about no food?
No, it's about dominant frequency. When we know, like if you watch on Gaia TV or anything like that, there's so much work done regarding the brainwave patterns of humans. When you're in the beta frequency, it's busy, 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 busy. Then you start perhaps meditating and you go into more Zen-like mindfulness, and you can measure there's a change in the brainwave pattern. It goes more to the alpha levels. When you start to go into the alpha levels, the totality of your personal signature, your body's transmission sets up through the law of resonance, you living in a different zone where there's more grace, there's more synchronicity, there's more magic. Now, when you keep tuning yourself to drop back into other levels of your own being, so we're not getting anything outside of ourselves because there is no inside or outside. We are just being washed with these energies. So as you turn your focus to the purer levels in your own beingness, it rises, because what you focus on grows. And so it's like layer, layer, layer. It's like the blossoming of a beautiful lotus, but you've got to be interested. You've got to be, yeah, I'm ready to feel, to know, to experience who I really am. Forget religion, forget spirituality. It's just a interest, a sincere interest in your own heart to understand the complexity, who you really are. And it's just interesting that all the spiritual traditions talk of this. So it's like, tell me the truth of what all the scriptures are talking about. And don't just tell me, because I can read it in a book. Let me feel it. Let me know it. And so as you go to that level of focus, you're not in all beta brain frequency, because, you know, it's like, so what? You grow up, you get educated, you get a career, you make money, you get married, you have kids, your kids grow, then you have grandkids, your grandkids grow up like mine. And it's like, that's the doingness of a busy beta brain world. But then there's the alpha, and then there's the theta brain frequency. And when you get anchored into a theta brain frequency, brainwave pattern state, the whole physiology of your body operates differently, and how the quantum field responds to you is very, very different compared to a beta brain person.
So you're saying it doesn't even have to be labeled as spirituality.
No, it's just no.
Let go of the spirit. Let go of the spirit. But I heard that you said there has to be a desire.
Oh yes. You have to want it. You have to go, okay, what's next? You know, it's like for me, when I was young, it was like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that. That's okay. What next? What next? What's next? What's next? And it was like this innate, like everyone will say to you, no matter how much they advance on an external level, it's almost as if there's this little part of you that goes, psst, there's more. Psst, there's more. And that's your pure and perfect, already enlightened nature that you could call Christ consciousness, you could call Buddha consciousness, you could call your authentic self, you could call your higher nature, you could call it the monad, the Atman. They've all got labels for it, but it's a very wise, loving, powerful, benevolent, kind, compassionate, aware, superhuman part of you. And it vibrates through all of our atomic structure, and you just give it attention, and it's like, hello, mama. You want to know who you really are? Well, here I am. And you just like, oh my God.
So let go of the religion, let go of the worry for spirituality, let go of the good and bad, and just recognize that you have this power within you. It's
vibrating through you. It's vibrating through everything.
Yeah. We all have it. We all have access to it. It's a part of everything. It's what we're all about. It's what the reality is. It's getting like real with reality.
It's a zone that supports all the other holograms, because that's why there's so much emphasis on be here now and the breath. I mean, one of the most incredible parts of the human design is we can breathe and we can play with the breath, and there's thousands of different techniques of the breath, but you can just slow it right down. And then as you talk about intentionality, see, for me, when I breathe, my reality is I'm not just breathing oxygen, I'm breathing from the very baseline of creation, the essence, source, energy from which all the light came into being, all the sacred geometric patterns, and all the universes and all sentient life. So it's like you dive into this ocean and you just swim till you hit baseline. And then it's like everything is revealed. And yet the more you think you know, the more you realize you know nothing at all, because it's so vast. But the journey of exploration of the levels within creation, which are vibing through us all, just waiting for us to go, hello, I'm interested now. and really interested, not from here. So when we breathe, we can go beyond the very idea that we're limited in what we breathe. Like, oh, I can't exist in LA because it's so smoggy and the air is so polluted. Well, go beyond. If you're walking through the streets of LA, then move your intention to go to the Himalayas or the heart of the Amazons and draw that chi to you. It comes instant because there's no time and space anyway. Everything goes by the power of thought. And the thing that travels the fastest is not the speed of light, but the speed of thought. So you just drink from the energy of the Amazons, drink from the energy of the Himalayas, drink from the energy that's coming through the sun, drink from the energy coming through the galactic core, drink from source point energy, go to the very baseline. And then what you're drinking, you're flooding your body with something so rich and so pure and so nourishing. And then go and have a look at your atoms. And when you put your intention into your atom, you'll see it's like a white hole. And streaming through every single atom is the purest flow of the purest frequency that's giving you life. And it has vitamins and minerals and proteins and carbohydrates. It's got everything because it's the same energy that brought the universes into being, and it's flowing through us in the 99.9% space. And then the more you do that, the more the body just goes, yeah, I'm not hungry. I'm just not hungry. And the emotional body goes, I'm not hungry. I don't need anything. The mental body goes, I am very happy. I don't need anything. And the physical, spiritual, the whole system is like, this now moment is so perfect, and my heart is filled with gratitude, and I am filled with awe and wonder at the very beauty of creation, and I am whole and I am complete, and there is nothing to attain and nowhere to go and nothing to chase, and all is good here now.
So even if I live in smoggy California or New York City, it doesn't matter. I can breathe in the air from the Amazon by holding that intention in my mind.
Yes, because you go put your mind in the Amazon right now, like interdimensional travel is just a thought. So you can go to Venus right now. You can go explore the Arcturian system once you've got into the vibrational pattern where the lines of transference are open. And, you know, I just watched this thing on out-of-body experiences on Gaia TV last night. It was fascinating. Remote viewing, guess what? Our military do it all the time. That's clairvoyance. We have clairvoyance, we have clairaudience, we have clairsentient. That's a natural part of us. But are we letting it rise? Or are we so busy in our little iPhones and so busy looking on the internet for our entertainment instead of the inner net for our entertainment? I prefer the internet.
So just focusing within rather than focusing out on the external busyness around, just focusing in is what this is about, growing the inside. And it's about kind of changing the lack and limitation that we have inside of our heads.
If you look inside on beta brain frequency, all you see is organs and tissues and atoms and cells. And you can look with your third eye and you can see how a cell will feed, because a cell is like this little round thing with these filaments, and prana or chi is like cosmic wind or pure energy, and it flows through, and the filaments go and it takes what it needs of that pure energy as it flows through cellular structure. But you've got to go beyond, beyond, beyond. It's like turning yourself inside out and go through the very atoms themselves like a fractal. When you focus on a fractal, you go more deeper, and it's a never-ending pattern. And so that's why the yogis and everyone says, just let everything go and be fully in each now moment and bring your heart and mind into coherence, because you bring your heart into coherence by just filling it with feelings of love and appreciation and gratitude. Everyone can do that. Just think of all the things you've got to be grateful for. Then give your mind a holiday. Unhook from thinking about matter and go to energy. And so when you can focus on energy, you're tuning now to the unified field, and the doorway of access into what the unified field holds is the right heart frequency. And the right heart frequency is gratitude and appreciation. And so now you're in this state of heart-brain coherence. Now you can fly, because now everything's solid of matter drops away, and it's like you can see the holographic nature of creation, and you know that you are everywhere in everything, and you're not bound by form. You're in the formlessness. You have formlessness flowing through form, and that's so nourishing and so freeing.
But
But that's just my games.
but you've got to get by like macronutrients and proteins and calories and cells. You've got to get past cellular structure. You've got to get past the physical. You've got to move past these kind of thought paradigms that are holding you trapped in a place.
Look, initially it's hard because I never ended up in this path seeking it. I think the greatest gifts come when you're not looking. You know, I've often said that when I read Autobiography of a Yogi, it was the first book I read where I felt energy coming off page into me. It was like my body was like drinking of the truth. But when I read about Giri Bala, who didn't take physical food or water, it was never, oh, that's what I want to do. In fact, I was never interested in this at all. But because of how I was living and fine-tuning myself, and part of that living was just being slammed, being a parent. Oh my God, is that a fine-tuning, you know? Raising kids, working, paying the bills, you know, trying to have a relationship, sort out how human relationships go. The day-to-day existence of life is a necessary gift giver, and the gifts it gives are virtues. Without virtues, you can't pump up the volume of this frequency. And those virtues aren't something you can try to be. You've got to be deep in the stuff to go, help, how do I handle this? To really go into your heart. Because like one of the things parenting teaches you is infinite patience. And I meet people in this field, they want to transition. Like somebody said to me the other day, I posted a beautiful message from the Ascended Masters on YouTube. And she said, stop posting this, just post stuff on how to be breatharian. And I went, well, honey, it's a frequency match. And this is part of frequency matching, because you got to get into the zone. You got to get deep enough in the zone. There's no quick fix to this. It's about flooding. It's about immersion. See, people hear about it and it's like there's a bath of energy over there and they go, oh, impossible. No way. They're crazy. And they go on about their lives because it's not for them now. And it's probably not for them this life. Others come over and they go, ooh, this sounds interesting. And they go and look at the bath. No, I don't know. Maybe not. Others, and they're in judgment. And this one's, you know, they're like, oh, I don't like that one's energy, or this one's a fraud, or that's not true. And I heard this, and the gossip and all of that. And then you get others. And they're like, ooh, this feels right for me. And they step into the bath. But the water's like this there, and it's up to their knees, and they're going, okay, what next? And it's like, well, honey, you can't stop taking physical food yet, because you'll die, because you're not deeply immersed enough in the energy that will give you this gift. You've actually got to do the work to get yourself in a submerged position where you are so deep in the frequency spectrum that will deliver this freedom that it naturally, organically happens. And there's no one way to do this, because every single human being is unique. So in 93, when we went through the conversion process and I wrote the book about it, we've got 7 books now on that topic, people were doing it and they were going, but didn't work. And it's like, no, because you're not frequency matching deep enough into the zone. Or it will work for a little while, but then an emotional pattern will come up that will trigger, I need chocolate, or I need, you know, or they'll have one bite of something and then they eat the whole fridge, whatever's in the fridge, because they're not emotionally in balance yet. They're not immersed deep enough in the zone of virtue, because the food that you get emotionally from this is immersion in the zone of virtue. But virtue begets virtue. And so you need to live deep in physicality and life to get slammed sometime, to pick up that patience or pick up that humility or pick up that kindness or pick up that compassion, pick up that empathy, and there's your emotional food. You're not trying to be compassionate. You know, maybe you lost somebody from COVID or something, or a heart attack or whatever, and you're like, oh, and it really affected you. And now you're really compassionate towards people who've lost loved ones. Well, compassion is a key to a door. It's an energetic key, which is why we're saying go plant-based. Because plant-based is about kindness and compassion. And it's like kindness to self to make sure your microbiome is in balance. And it's kindness to the animal kingdom. So if you want to be pranic, you've got to get yourself flooded with the right frequency. And one aspect of that is compassion. Compassion for yourself, that you're going to give yourself good fuel, the best fuel that's available. That used to be vegan, raw, but for a long time, 30 years now in the West, we've been talking about the source feeding, which is my term, source feeding. I feed from source. And source is everywhere. Source is in everyone. It's our sentient nature. If it's dominant, you're free. If it's not dominant and human personality, ego self is dominant and running the game called your life, you're not free. You're bound by physicality. So you have to take physical food, and you will find yourself seeking emotional food from outside of yourself. You'll find yourself seeking mental food. But, you know, for us in our journey, it's like choose top quality physical food, emotional food, mental food, spiritual food. Go for the best. Find out what's the best for you. And you'll know, because your heart will go, oh, this is just right for me. And if your heart isn't going, this is just right for me, and you're in doubt, leave it alone. You're not ready for it, or it's not your path this life.
So I heard there that, you know, there's a bit of a preparation. You have to be prepared for this. I also heard that
interested and prepared.
Interested, desire. There has to be desire. There has to be preparation. So we have to get ready for this energy.
Yeah.
Some sort of preparation, some detoxification within the body, some cleansing through the body, some cleansing of the body, so that the body can receive this more clearly, more efficiently. There's got to be a meditation practice. There's got to be some silent practice. There's got to be comfort with stillness. We have to get comfortable with being still. We have to be okay with stillness. This is all preparation in order to live on less food, to live on lighter foods. And I heard also it's a shift toward vegan life. It's towards source feeding, which is no food, but it's along the way to get to source feeding. It's taking lighter nourishment to get there.
See, but it's a lifestyle. Like, remember, you're a physical trainer, you know, weight training and fitness coach and all of that. And we learned long ago that if people go on a diet, they lose weight, but they don't sustain it. You've got to change lifestyle. And it's the same with this. So I have a book called The Luscious Lifestyle Program that you can get on our website. And we have courses about all this as well. But you have to actually live a certain way that sets up a natural magnetic attractor pattern to drop back to the truth of who you really are. So what I call, I'm interested in energy matrices. I'm interested in your chakra system, your meridian system, the Chinese medicine system, because when I was raising kids and had a full-time career, I couldn't afford to get sick, and I didn't want them sick, because if I didn't work, I didn't get paid. So I learned very early on, you know, good diet, exercise, a certain lifestyle kept us it kept us in strong immune systems. So no matter what virus was going around, because kids are always doing stuff at school, getting a cold and bringing it home. But if your immune system is really strong, you don't get that problem. And that is lifestyle, lifestyle, lifestyle. So we have our meridian system. The Chinese medicine system is interesting, the way acupuncture can draw qi to a certain spot and heal a body, help a body heal. But we also have our body of light, which is the matrix beyond the meridian system. And the light body has layers and layers within it, which will almost detonate like a Hiroshima bomb, like you hit a frequency spectrum and another level detonates. You hit a frequency spectrum through lifestyle, another level and another level. And every level in the body of light delivers a gift. Like there's one level in the body of light, which is a zone that I call the template of perfected health. So you can play with this, like you can use mind over matter to go and tell your cellular structure to realign itself back to the template of perfected health within you. And if you hold that enough with intention and love, your body will heal itself because it has a pattern of perfected health within it. You have a hall of communion within your body of light, which is where all clairvoyance, clairaudience, telepathy kicks in. That seventh sense that I know what I know, but I'm not quite sure what it is that I know, but I know that I know it. That's in that zone where you're just getting higher insight. You have in your body of light a template that can, that is the self-sustaining, self-regenerating template. And when it powers up, because it's part of your energy matrix construct, so when it releases and powers up, you're just not hungry on any level. See, there's people playing with the physical game. I'm interested in eliminating all human hunger, because if you can release what people carry within them so they have no physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual hunger anymore, you imagine that world.
So that's a possibility if we can get beyond the programs that
we just need better education. It's education.
But are you suggesting that the education is going to change?
It has to. It's holistic time. We have to understand who we really are. And we're not, look, the mainstream educational pattern is very, very
education.
limited.
I don't think it's going to change. I mean, do you think that they're going to hold on to that? They're never going to let that go.
Yeah, but that's okay. Who's they? You have all the power.
I think the government.
No one has any more power than you do.
That controls that education.
But imagine if you just said, show me experientially who I really am at my core.
We can find it and pursue it on our own. We have to move outside of the education that we've received and find that education within ourselves. We have to listen to some new ideas. We have to open ourselves to some new ideas. We have to open ourselves to some further possibilities, because this stuff is not going to come into the mainstream.
But it is, you see, 30 years ago, this idea of Westerners being nourished by prana, everybody went, no way. We have over 100,000 people with this gift who are demonstrating it now. We have another 500,000 in training. And you talk to many people and they go, yeah, I've heard about you guys. Don't believe it, but I've heard about you, because it's anchored in the morphogenetic field. And you have to look at frequency emanation. The frequency emanation of a beta brain frequency person or world is very dense compared to the frequency emanation of someone awake to their enlightened yogi nature, who are anchored constantly in theta brain. It takes 10 in avatar consciousness to wake up a world. 10. Because we're talking about calibration. Like there's a beautiful book called Power versus Force, and they measure the impact of consciousness. Anger, you can calibrate at 150. Unconditional love, you calibrate at 500. Source feeding, you're calibrating more towards the 700s. The avatar consciousness is about 800. So you've got to look at strength of transmission and purity of transmission. So one person fully awake to their own enlightened nature, so they're a radiant sun, They're a living embodiment of love and joy and peace and wisdom. They can zip it. They don't have to say anything because it's not about paradigms or words. It's about being a living example. And you get enough people awake to the truth of who they really are because they want to know who they really are and they're ready. Then that holds a frequency that just raises, raises, raises everything around. Doesn't take much.
It sounds lovely. It sounds lovely. I hope so. I really hope so. I wonder, but I hope so.
Yeah, but don't hope it, be it. Just be it. Just, like anyone watching here, play a game with me. Come into your heart and just say, I am ready. I am ready to experience who I really am. I'm ready to experience my core nature. I am ready to experience the truth of all the holy scriptures that all the beautiful messengers spoke about in their journey on earth. I am ready to know and feel who I really am. Make this my experiential truth. Can your heart say yes, 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 yes? Yes, come on, tell me yes, yes, yes.
I say yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I want this. I want to see this. I want to know this. But it's not only me. I mean, I want this for myself, and I practice myself.
But John, Gandhi said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world."
Just be it. Just be
it. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And then yes, and your frequency. See, what people don't understand is the multi-level zone of reality on Earth. If I go straight into multimedia and I watch the news and I give it all my attention, I dive into that zone and I'm mesmerized. I become enmeshed in that zone because whatever you feed becomes real. And so the more I go into duality, the more I'll see the black and the white and the love and the hate and the fear and the lack and what's wrong with the world. But if I stop and withdraw,
this is what I hear.
Yes, but why go there? Isn't it boring? It's just TV. Change the channel. So you do the work, you fine tune, you drop out of that zone and you go, okay, what movie do I want to live in? For me, at 7, Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. So, and he also said, all you have to do is ask and receive. So I was 7 and I said, show me. And my life became about show me. If it's true, the kingdom of heaven is within me. And if it's true, all I've got to do is ask and receive. Then I want to see it and know this kingdom of which you speak. Well, that went out as a quantum field imprint. And the quantum field says you have a right to know and experience the truth of who you really are, even if you've forgotten it by living in a dense world. And if you really want to know, we must accommodate that heartfelt prayer. Now, I couldn't find it in Christianity, but by the time I was 16, that quantum benevolence had me in the field of the Indian gurus who were transmitting such love and such light. And they didn't say much. They just sat there. And they just were it. They were that peace. They were that love. Their eyes, so beautiful and so filled with light. And I just felt, whatever you guys have got, I want it. That's food. And so I was initiated into a 5,000-year-old Vedic tradition of meditation. The first time I sat to meditate, my whole third eye and being exploded in light as if I was a radiant sun. And with the light came so much love that I just melted into the love and I went, I am not a 16-year-old girl, and wherever that love came from, that's what I want. And then I dedicated my life to the more. And the more for me was the experience of a love that was so divine that it's just like, that's the truth of who I am. And I want more of that. And then I was prepared to do the work to tune to that channel to get them all.
So I mean, that's a different goal than I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to lose 30 pounds, or I want to fit into these jeans, or how can I lose weight faster, or how, you know, it's to really change your focus from I just want to lose weight to taking a bit bigger picture at it.
It's like, go to the totality of who you are and don't be so consumed with the physical structure. Because beauty comes from inside, you know, like these Indian guys I met, the Mahatmas, they were young and gorgeous and old and wrinkly, but I just loved them all because they were love. They were pure love in motion. They were pure peace in motion. For me, that was beauty. Beauty is the full expression of the light and the love that lies at our core, that becomes our dominant frequency so that we are free from the limitations of the human mind reality constructs. Experientially free.
But
See, then you can
gotta think bigger. We gotta think bigger than the physical. We gotta go bigger than the physical. So someone comes in and they're only thinking about weight loss. It's to convince them that they're more than just their weight.
You put them onto a raw food, plant-based 16-8 regime, they'll lose the weight, they'll feel beautiful, and then they've gotten what they desire. And when they've got that, then the next level, because every human being must go at their own pace. Everyone must blossom in their own way at their own potential. And if someone's consumed with health or weight loss or getting energy back, then you've got to deliver the formula for them to achieve that goal. Once that's locked in, then there's the next level. When they're ready, when they're saying, well, my health's good, my money game's good, my relationship's good, my kid game's happening, this is fine, but I feel there's more. I'm ready for more. I don't know what the more is, but I feel there's something more. And then they're open, so quantum benevolence. See, we don't even have to do anything because we live in a field of such benevolence that every prayer in a human heart is responded to. But if it's not a heartfelt prayer, it's just mental meanderings. Like people may look at the breatharian reality and they go, oh, I wonder if that's real. But they're not interested themselves. They're just mental musings. So or they find out that, hey, it's a big lifestyle change, you know, and you've got to tune yourself. You've got to detox the physical if there's a lot of crap in the physical. You've got to detox the emotional if there's a lot there. You've definitely got to detox the mental. Like the detox of the mental is everything you hear that somebody tells you. Before you accept it as a truth, you say, will this allow me to be a limited being or a limitless being? And if you can see it's going to create limitation in your life, you hit that delete button and replace it with a limitless paradigm. Now that takes time and training. So this isn't something that's going to come just like that, depending on, you know, where you've been in other times, I could say, because I've seen people who've just heard of this reality, they've made a few tweaks and they're locked in, but that was because who they were in another line of time. You know, maybe they had a life as a monk and they were so close to the frequency field, they come in, they're a bit distracted with careers and money and kids and all of that. Now they're ready to pick up where they left off last time. And in fact, the family gave them more patience and humility. Now they're here and they lock like that. They can transition quickly because they're already close to the field. But if you're not close to the field and you stop taking physical food, you're going to do damage. In fact, you could easily die. You know, because you have to eat somehow. Like we eat all the time, but differently. I eat more than anyone I know because I'm eating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's like this energy that flows through me like waves, that my whole body's just gobbling up, but there's just no digestive process involved, and there's no need for cultivation of crops, and there's no need for, you know, insecticides or pesticides or harming plants or animals. And I just love it. I just love that. It suits me fine.
I love it. Can you expand? I mean, you touched on that 16 and 8. What is this? What do you know? Please explain to people what you're talking about. What is this 16/8? Please talk about fasting in the 16/8.
Well, you know about it. I know you're just pretending you don't for our viewers. But in 1907, there was a young man doing some research, and he won a Nobel Prize about the process of autophagy, which is what is now called intermittent fasting in the West. And it just means you give your body a break for 16 hours. Stop this. Stop putting anything into it. If you're going to take physical food, take it through an 8-hour window. Many people in the West do this. So maybe they'll start at 10 in the morning, and then 8 hours later, there's no more. Or maybe at 8 in the morning, 8 hours later, no more. And it means the body can rest, because the problem with the Western diet, like, I love the work, and I cannot recommend this enough, the work of Dr. Zach Bush. And if you haven't interviewed him, he's brilliant. He is talking about farmer footprint and climate change and the problem with Roundup and the use of insecticides in farming, and the problem with the microbiology and the diets and fast food and the SOS, salt, oil, sugar, salt, oil, sugar. And if you have a diet with a lot of that, you destroy the microbiology. And people do this in their transitioning to being nourished by prana as well. And so when your microbiology is out, that's when you get obesity, you get cancer, you get heart disease, you get all sorts of problems, because your microbiome is not a complete system. Yes. So by not just autophagy of 16/8, but and a plant-based diet. Now that would take people years to achieve. That could take you 5 years. Let's say you're a meat eater now, and you say, okay, I'm going to lighten it up. No more red meat. Because you need to be socially and emotionally comfortable with every level of transition, or you'll be in denial and you'll keep tripping back into old ways. So you let go of the red meat, you let go of the white meat, you become vegetarian, then you let go of the dairy, then you go vegan and plant-based. When you're comfortable emotionally and socially with that, then you go into the raw. When you're emotionally, socially comfortable, and you've added meditation and the other things in the lifestyle, and you're filling yourself up with more of the pure frequency spectrum of prana, then you go liquidarian, then you do, and it may take you 10, 20 years. Who cares? Who's in a hurry?
20 years, I need to get in shape by spring.
Yes, but you know what to do. You do the 16/8.
It's the mindset of the person that comes to a personal trainer. They want to get it fast, right? They want to get it fast. They don't want to hear that it's going to take 5 years. They don't want to hear it's going to take 10 years. It could take 20 years for you to switch your lifestyle to something new. They want to get it fast, right? They want to.
John, they want it fast because they look in the mirror and they're trained to see the imperfection rather than the perfection. You know, one of the things that we tell people to do is go and stand naked in a mirror and fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with the blueness of your eyes or the color of your eyes. Fall in love with all the features you love. Focus on loving the totality of the human being you are. I can't do it unless I stand naked in the mirror and I say, Jasmuheem, you are beautiful for a Renaissance woman. That's the truth, because I'm shaped like a Renaissance woman. I'm booby and I'm, you know, whatever. But if I say, oh, you're beautiful, my little, no, you're not by today's standards. So you have to find a truth where you can look at yourself in the mirror and start to appreciate the perfection that you already are in all your humanness, because We have bought into an airbrush society that says you've got to look like this and you've got to look like that to be beautiful, but that's not what beauty is anyway. It's a superficiality of selfies airbrushed to perfection or with filters so that you look a certain way, or putting poison in your skin or whatever, the Botox for no wrinkles. But can't you love your wrinkles? Can't you love your humanity? Can't you just love it all?
You could.
But that's training.
It takes training.
That's training.
It takes asking yourself different questions rather than why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? It's got to be like, how could I love this? What could I love about this? What is good about it?
Exactly.
It's asking the right questions to yourself rather than berating yourself with the thoughts and words that you've received from the outside again. It's to find this love.
It's inside validation rather than outside validation. Like, because of my age, I have so many friends in their 70s and 80s, and they're beautiful, awakened people whose eyes shine with so much love and light, and they're vibing such peace and such knowingness and such acceptance. They don't even think about wrinkly skin. They're doing yoga. They're doing what they need to maximize the best of who they are. They live a great lifestyle, but they've also got great positive attitude. They're looking for the good in themselves. They're looking for the God in themselves. They're looking for the good in others. They're looking for the God in others. They're looking for the divine in everything. They're looking for they want to see it. You change your vision. You ask your vision that your physical eyes be aligned to the eyes of your pure essence nature, so you can see the world through the eyes of your essence rather than through your human personality eyes of judgment.
Lovely.
And then you start to see differently, because you're literally wired up. Your third eye and your physical eyes are wired up with your hypothalamus, which is your inner TV, and your pineal and pituitary gland. So you can see zone within zone within zone. You can look at duality and just see it as a limited construct of external validation, which means absolutely nothing to you in comparison to the internal validation you get when you are just flooded with the love, the light, the wisdom, the peace of your own pure nature, which is the perfect guru teacher.
Can you talk a little bit about religion and how it fits into this, and maybe what are, I'm just going to let you talk about religion, please.
Look, it's beautiful because I'm very left brain. I have a very Mensa mentality, and I run very much left brain of logic. As a computer programmer was my career, but I've also very balanced in my right brain intuition, and that's something that's important for us, to have a perfect flow between the left and right brain hemispheres, and to make sure the master glands are operating at their highest potential, because that changes the way logic and intuition run. But we've lived in a left brain world where the intuitive nature has been suppressed, because it's very patriarchal and it hasn't been as balanced. For me, I've always been very androgynous in my being. I've never felt male, I've never felt female, I've just felt I'm here. But we're living in a society that's very patriarchal, and so you've taken this beautiful, intuitive, like Jesus is known as a being of love. When he hit 30, he became matched with an energy matrix they call the cosmic Christed energy. And that's a matrix of pure love. So he was very much into peace and love and unity and brotherhood. Then we had the Buddha came before that. And the Buddha was very much in the matrix of the Ra solar wisdom energy. So we had one coming in with wisdom that delivered 33,000 heart sutras that people are spending lifetimes studying of such wisdom. So you had the Buddhas of wisdom, then you had the Christed ones of love, Now you've got a new energy coming in. They call the Buddha Maitreya, which is the blend of the two, the blend of the love wisdom principle. Now, when you get love and wisdom hand in hand, then you have power. You have the power to transform everything. But if you get wisdom without love, it's not enough. If you get love without wisdom, it's not enough. If you go too left brain and not enough right brain, it's not enough. You've got to harmonize within yourself, your masculine, your feminine, your right brain, your left brain, and all the holy messengers that people have come to love. They've loved them for their teachings, their wisdom, their love, their frequency, and they've all said it's in you. They've all said it's in you. They've all said there will come a point where you will no longer rely on external teachers because you will find the love and the wisdom of the teacher within. But, you know, religion plays the power games from time to time and the separation games. And we went through the time of the Dark Ages where women who were even playing with herbs were burnt at the stake because they were witches, when the men just wanted to snap all their property or get rid of them because they were noisy and they didn't like what they were saying, whatever. But you see, that's duality. And that goes on and on and on and on. And you've got to remember the gifts that duality teach. Duality is there to teach us the right use of fame, the right use of sexual energy, the right use of power, the right use of money. And when you know the right use of these four initiations and energies, then you're free from the game. But you can have a look in duality, and so many people are still learning about the right use of power, the right use of fame, the right use of money, because that's just part of the gifting of duality. 4 simple initiations, and once you've learned them, you don't have to play in duality anymore.
So,
you don't have to, it's just a movie.
Duality is kind of a learning field for us.
It's like so important. It gives us wisdom and virtues. Yes, the whole reason. See, people want to transform duality and they forget duality is an important playground to give you wisdom and virtues. Once you've incarnated enough and being dense there,
good and bad.
That's right.
This idea of good and bad.
Playing with energy, playing with energy. Can you play with energy that is not just me, but it's for the we? And that's the game. You will transcend duality when you stop playing. It's all about me. And let's look at the game of the we. How can I operate as a system of energy through all realms in a way that's beneficial for all sentient life? Now, when you ask that, when you sincerely say, all I want as a system of energy that transmits frequencies is to operate in a way that is beneficial for all sentient life through all realms, then all the realms of illusion drop away and you start to experience who you really are as a co-creative force in a beautiful way.
I love this, and I love that you said this word sentient because it's coming up. It's coming up. I'm seeing it more and more and more, and I want to touch on that because also I see the meat eaters kind of making fun of this idea that you know, the plants are alive too, and if we're eating the plants, we're killing the plants. And I can you respond to this?
I know people used to say the same to me, but Jazz, you pull a carrot out of the ground and you wash it and you eat it and it's screaming, and it is. So for me, when I was aware of that, it was like, oh, I wonder what else there is then. Can I exist in a different way beyond that as well? Because I was always interested in no harm to all sentient life. You know, when I was a kid, I spent my life in trees, I spent my life in caves, I spent my life in Mother Nature. I just naturally love those peace-filled fields, because I had a big family. There was a lot of people in my house. And for me, it was like, go and recharge with a walk in the bush or go live in a tree for a while. And I could just feel how it reset my energy. And I just loved it all. I just loved the butterflies. I loved the bird song. I just loved the grass. I loved everything. And so that was my interest from very, very young. So it doesn't surprise me that I ended up in this state of freedom where there is no harm to any sentient life, because I don't need to take external nourishment. I mean, I can if I want. I'm free. It's not a path of, got to do it this way always. But what's beautiful is this absolute freedom of choice. And I found early in the 90s, when I was sharing this in Europe, if I said, wouldn't it be great if you never had to take physical food anymore? People would go, no. And so I remarketed that and I said, well, wouldn't it be wonderful to have the freedom where you were so aligned to another source of fuel that you had freedom of choice? If you wanted to take some physical food, you could. If you didn't want to, you didn't have to. How many of you like that? And everyone would go, yay, me. So marketing's important. And the people who are
for the message. And I think that sentient thing is very important too, because I think for people to understand is when you start moving towards this vegan lifestyle, this is what happens is you get these meat eaters that are saying this idea that if you eat a carrot, you're killing a carrot. And we have to differentiate that an animal is sentient and the carrot is not sentient. Like sentient.
No, they're all sentient. It's all sentient. I mean, they're true, but they're just trying to vibe you out and justify their meat eating.
But there is an animal kingdom, there is an animal kingdom, there is a plant kingdom, and there is a mineral kingdom. I mean, we have to observe that. And that the animal is the higher life form. So
it's more individualized.
Yeah.
It's more individualized.
Yes.
But it's still sentient. Like things could not see what binds molecular structure together, whether it's a chair, like I'm sitting on a chair and it seems solid, but it is a collection of atoms, and atoms are bound together by the frequency of love. Without love, things couldn't magnetize together. But every atom, remember, is 99.9% space. And if you were to take a human being down to solid matter, it would be a teaspoon of solidity. We don't look like it. You may weigh, 80 kilos or 70 kilos. You think we're solid. And in this reality, we feel solid. But on a subatomic particle structure, we're not solid at all. But everything is made up of a collection of atoms, whether it's plants, whether it's minerals, whether it's animals, no matter what it is. The fact is there is another way to live if you're interested. When you're interested, without judging that you shouldn't eat this or you should eat that, or vegan's better or anything.
You've got to let go of some of the stuff that's going on around and what other people are saying. People that are stuck in that same old mindset that, protein first idea, that mindset leads people, even when people move to the vegan lifestyle, they even still consume protein fortified vegan powder, or they're still going to the soy, or they're still going to the vegan meats, like the fake meats. Like this idea of protein is the idea that really needs to kind of be dissolved a little bit. Like we got to get away from this old protein idea.
Well, see, that's education. 8 almonds, if you take 8 almond nuts, that has the same amount of protein as a small amount of steak. So it's the same. Legumes have protein. Protein, when you study this, can come from many sources, but it's still externalized feeding. What if you just drop back here now and just said, I open to receive all my vitamins, all my minerals, my carbohydrates, my proteins. I open to receive everything I need now, directly from the source energy flowing through me. I'm opening to this now. Lock me into this here now. Yes, yes, yes. Can you say yes, yes, yes?
Yes,
Yes, yes, yes. Remember, this is being recorded in the quantum field. So if you can say, I am ready to be nourished by cosmic super fuel, by pure essence energy, I open to receive this now, and I only eat from this moment on for pure pleasure. Lock this in, make this my truth. You immediately start to rebalance and rewire your neural pathways to open to an alternate way of being fed. Then you play, you unhook, you go from 3 meals a day to 2 meals a day, 2 meals a day to maybe 1 meal a day, but go plant-based immediately, do 16-8 immediately.
Practice
That's right.
Words, rehearsing these thoughts and words, saying these things, meditating on these things, thinking about these things, putting in new different ideas into our minds, speaking them again, rehearsing it.
See, because whatever you claim, you become. You claim it, you name it, you become it. Claim it, name it, be it is what we say. So if you claim that I need this, then you're going to need it. If you claim that you need to operate in that, I claim I need my soulmate. Where's my soulmate? It's like, well, your soulmate is actually in you. And when that part of you rises and you're flooded with the pure love, you don't need an external soulmate. In fact, everyone's your soulmate. You know, you can connect on beautiful levels with everybody. But people have this naming and claiming of many different limited realities. And you know what, John? It's fine. It's just part of that soul stage of evolution. And when they're done playing in that stage of evolution, like when people are done playing with the mineral, the animal kingdom as a source of food, because maybe they go, oh, maybe it's not good for climate change issues because it takes 20 times the world's food resources to put meat on the table compared to grain. Maybe I need to be a bit more climate proactive or environmentally proactive. Vegan-based, plant-based is better for the planet. I'll do that. I'll let go of my desire for flavor, or I'll do the fakey flavor stuff, which is a transition trend. You know, people need that to transition out and unhook from that. You know, it's not what you would choose to do, or others would, many vegans who love just vegan as the flavor it is would do, but others need that. I've had many talks to the owners of restaurants who are doing faking flavor, you know, but they're full and people love it. And the people there are going, I didn't know it could taste so good. And once they're used to that and they feel the health effects of their body, then they'll go on lighten. But remember, a lot of people are hooked into physical food and flavor because of emotional-based reasons.
It's emotional.
You know, it's emotional. It's emotional. If people ate because they were listening to the voice of the body, they would naturally eat very light, and it would all be plant-based because that's what your body says it feels best with. Like many people's bodies now reject gluten. Many people's bodies now reject dairy products because the frequency of what's coming out from Gaia, what's coming in multidimensionally through the galaxy, the solar system, what's hitting our world as our world goes through her changes is affecting people's bodies.
So now, what are we going to say about immune function and health? Because I think this is a big one right now. A lot of people are worried about a killer virus that's out there.
Simple lifestyle. We can do a lot to boost our immune system. You know, I think there's the big next thing is vaccine or not vaccine. And I think people are saying, I have a right to keep my immune system strong. And if through lifestyle I can keep my immune system strong, then I won't be attracting or transmitting anything but a healthy pattern. And so we need to be educated into a good holistic lifestyle that keeps our immune system strong. Number one, flood your whole physical structure with the energies that can bring it into perfect health. And these come from the body of light, from the core nature, what's flowing in through the atoms, the vibration in the atoms, from the unified field. When unified field essence energy dominates, you're strong. I noticed for me when I was young, I could do an hour yoga, but when I went pranic, I could do 3 hours. I became stronger. When I was lifting weights before on a vegan diet, my energy was very different on source feeding, stronger. Everything just functioned better. One, you don't need much sleep. You're never processing food. You're not digesting food because it's flowing through the atomic structure and your cells take what it needs. Remember, it's not an external food. It's a vibrational flow through. So you get stronger. You don't need much sleep. You get more energized in your thinking patterns. If there's a problem, you get a good solution quite quickly. So you boost your immune system by lifestyle. Now, how you affect your body is let go of the fear game. Let go of limited mental food. Because if you keep feeding yourself by mainstream media, for example, if that's your food, it's going to impact your body because it's going to dump cortisol in your body. And cortisol is the fear game, and the fear game breaks down your immune system. So you have to feed yourself mentally with food, mental food that uplifts you. So you go on Gaia TV, or you make sure you watch really good, interesting educational programs and documentaries and stuff that fascinates you and feeds your mind and opens your mind to higher possibility. That then puts your emotional body in like, oh, awe, wonder. Like, look at all the new solutions our young ones are bringing in for climate change. Young guys who have machines that can gobble up all the plastic in the oceans and transmute it so it's not a problem. And we have so much beautiful new technology and things coming in. Ask or look to see the beauty of creation, look to connect with, like even to say, align me energetically with the networks that operate in a way that's for the highest good of all sentient life. And that command to quantum starts to re-vibrate you from one pattern of energy into another pattern of energy. And now you're meeting uplifting, mentally stimulating, interesting people. Upgrade your networks. Ask to upgrade your mental networks. Ask to upgrade or to be tuned to the perfect mental nourishment you need. Ask to tune into the perfect matrices of emotional nourishment that uplift you and let you thrive and let you keep your heart in gratitude and awe and wonder. Like, I spend so much time in my mountain retreat just in awe and wonder at the flowers I'm growing lately, because I'm not traveling anymore. So I'm growing flowers. And I look at my garden and I go, oh, that's such a beautiful flower. Look at, oh, I've got purple and this, and look at the birds and look at the trees. And I'm just on the wind up the valley, and thank you for the sunshine, and oh, thank you for the people I love, and thank you for my husband, and thank you. And every day I'm just totally zoned in on all the things I have to be grateful for, and that's emotional food, you know? Good mental food, good emotional food, and good physical. 16-8 plant-based physically. Get moving, move it or lose it. Start doing qigong, start doing yoga, start doing swimming. I do yoga in the ocean because I love gravity-free exercise. So you can swim, you can do it, you dance. Find music you love, tribal music, anything, and dance like no one's watching, and your whole body, physically, emotionally, mentally, will be in celebration of life. This is us feeding ourselves day by day, and then we're in joy and we're in celebration, and our immune systems are so strong.
So if we do this, then do we need to get vaccinated?
We can't comment on that. We get into trouble because it's an individual decision, isn't it? But it's going to be interesting because, look, I might be, if I'm going to travel again, I might be somebody who has to, or they won't let me back into my country. Australia's borders are closed now. I haven't been allowed out of my country for a while. But once I do want to go back to Japan and back to our dark room that we do all the time, it may be a vax. But can that vax be like a mosquito bite on an elephant that has no impact at all if you're vibrating the purest energy spectrum from deep within you? See, if you absorb energy, you're in trouble. If you radiate energy, you're not. The first thing we teach people in the pranic network is let go of the idea that you're absorbing energy and get into the idea that you radiate energy from the very core of yourself. And that core energy, as it transmissions through you, it feeds you, then it goes out through the pores of the skin and feeds the field around you. So stop playing the game that I absorb energy and play the game that I radiate energy. And if you are radiating your pure divine nature self, then a little vaccine prick is not a big deal at all unless you want it to be.
Okay, I love it. I love it. And you know, what is your kind of message to the world? What do you want to say to the world? What's the giveaway, the takeaway that we need to take from the breatharian lifestyle, from your experience of food-free life? What's the takeaway that the world needs to hear?
I would up it to, it's not a food-free life, it's a super fuel-free, it's a super fuel life. Super fuel. Okay, cosmic super fuel. I used to call prana cosmic super fuel. We are tapping into the most nourishing fuel a human system can access, and it's the sort of fuel that will take away every human hunger that you have. So if you're ready for that or you're interested in that, then make sure you get trained so you do no damage to your physical body, because it's a lifestyle of tuning in to the frequency that gives you the freedom. But in the meantime, what is lovely about this is that you see that everything is perfect. See, when you have no hunger, you also have no judgment. You know, like you're so complete within yourself. It's like, I look at humanity and I love everyone and I love everything. I just love it. I just love, 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 love humanity. I love seeing these sparks of the divine in human form, in all the different form. I love seeing the games they're playing, the games of war, the games of dominance, the games of chaos, the games of politics, the games of economies, because it's not real. It's just like going into a movie theater and going, and then you withdraw and you go sit in another movie theater and it's like, oh, that's entertaining too. And it's this state of loving allowance. Remember, everything blossoms with unconditional love. It doesn't blossom into its potential with judgment. When you come in with eyes of judgment, and this is right and that's wrong, and this is good and that's bad, and that political system's this, and blah, 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 blah. When you go into judgment, all you do is perpetuate separation. You become the agent of separation. But if you want to be the agent of unity, then you need to go beyond assessing the creative flows as good or bad. And the more your source fed, the more you can see the perfection of every single zone and game. But it is just a hologram. It is just a game. You need to rest your mind sometimes. So you rest your mind, give it a holiday, back to the now moment, back to the breath. Just let it all go. And you use 3 mantras. First mantra, I am pure love. I am on the inhale and pure love on the exhale. We have a meditation on this in our YouTube channel somewhere. Next one, I am eternal. Next one, I am infinite. That allows that part that is pure love, infinite and eternal, to rise, dominate the system, and so you become it, because you name what you want to claim and then you become. So if all you name and claim is I am pure love, I am infinite, I am eternal, then you're feeding the very truth of who you are at your core. And it's the same core, whether you're male or female or black or white. All of that is superficiality. At the core of us, we are pure love. And when you claim, I am pure love, you align every cell in your body, every molecule, every atom to the fields of the purest love. When you claim, I am eternal, you remind your atom cells that there is this eternal pure essence nature flowing through you. When you claim, I am infinite, you remind your physical structure that you exist way beyond this physical form and that you are vast, multidimensional consciousness, and you open through the naming and claiming to feel it. And then the pure love rises, and then the infinite nature reveals itself, and the eternalness of where you are starts to pulsate, and you just realize that you're just one little speck of consciousness in this human form playing in this world. The question is, are you playing in a way that is nourishing for sentient life, supporting sentient life, that is for the highest good of sentient life, so sentient life can know the truth of who they really are when they are ready? Because when they're ready, they'll gravitate to the field of those who are that. When they're not, they'll play the games of separation and duality, and that's fun. I just love it all. Just love it all, love it all, love it all. Because love is what transforms, not judgment. But that's just my reality.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jasmuheem. What if somebody wants to get a hold of you, or maybe share what's warm on your heart, what you're really working on, what you're trying to put out there, maybe something that you're trying to promote, or something that you'd like to encourage people to get a hold of or a piece of? Is there something that you're doing that people might want to join in on?
Well, because I'm locked in my country, I've had a lot of time, and I've been doing what I've been guided to do for a while, which is put a legacy together, which sounds egotistical on one level, but not really. It's just to do some online courses. So if they have a look on my website, jasmuheem.com, we have 9 courses we're putting together, because the umbrella of our work is the Embassy of Peace. And our job with the Embassy of Peace is to put ourselves out of business. In other words, there'll come a time where the embassy doesn't need to be here. But in the meantime, it is here, and we are offering programs for personal fine-tuning, for global fine-tuning, for universal fine-tuning. Our Luscious Lifestyle program, which is one of our courses, is 8 points to tune yourself into a frequency where you're just strong and free and healthy and happy, and you're living in harmony in you and with others. It's a good program. The Source Feeding program is part of our program for eliminating global warming issues and environmental issues. Because if you go 16-8 vegan, wow, plant-based, that's going to have a huge impact on our environment immediately. And eventually, if you do what we share in the lifestyle, you go into source feeding if it's for you this life, but it may not be. And so we have on my website universal harmonization programs with contact. I think the first contact must be with your own pure, already enlightened nature. But we share about contact with the Devic kingdom, the elementals, beautiful beings from the ascended master matrix, our intergalactic family, beings from other star systems. And that's all becomes natural when you source feed as well. But I've had that contact for a long time. But, I think you have your mastery within you. I think you have all the answers, all the love, all the wisdom within you. And if you can just use these 3 mantras, I am pure love, I am infinite, I am eternal, and you're really open to that, you'll be surprised at what comes in. But they can come to our website too and do our online courses. Why not?
Thank you so much, Jasmuheem. I've really enjoyed our time today. I think a lot of people have also enjoyed. I see the messages online, all positive. So if there's anything else you'd like to add, please do so. And if not, I'm grateful for this teaching tonight.
John, I've listened to your own interviews, and there's not a lot we've shared that you don't already know. And I know you've been a wonderful host, asking questions that you think your audience might want. But I do know a lot of people are worried about others and what's going on in the world. But really, as we said, everything that's going on is going to deliver something really good. It's like our world is in high-speed blending of change right now as old paradigms come up for rebalance, and the blending process is going to take some time. But just because our paradigms in our world are in massive economic, political, educational, health change, it doesn't mean the end result isn't going to be wonderful, but it's going to take time. But we can stabilize ourselves in another zone beyond that. We have the breath, we have a lifestyle, we have choice. And choice is so powerful. So just be aware of what you're choosing to feed yourself with mentally, which then will feed you emotionally, and that will have a big impact physically. But go as green and clean as you can physically as well. 16-8, vegan, plant-based, start there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you making this time for me and for all of us watching today.
It's nice we could finally connect. John and I, as you said, we've been trying for ages, and all these things were happening. Storms on my mountain where I lost internet connection, but we're here now. Thank you, John. Thank you for all you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Ciao, everybody.
Bye.